Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Adam Saprasky. I'm the broker for Cardinal Realty Group, and I'm also a licensed real estate attorney in Florida. I specialize in real estate law and real estate transactions. Okay, so today we're going to be going over the Condo Rider to a contract. So if you have a contract and it's you're purchasing a condo, you're going to want to include a Condo Rider. Okay. So for the Condo Rider, as you can see, I have it pulled up here on the screen. And for the Condo Rider, if you are a buyer and you're the one making this offer, or you are an agent of a buyer and you are writing up this offer on behalf of a buyer, this form is going to ask you a lot about the condo that you might not know. Okay, they ask you for information here that you might not know. So you're going to want to go ahead and call the listing agent or the seller or someone who knows a little bit more, maybe someone at the association management office who's going to help you answer some of these questions that you might not know. In the past, I have also seen people present a contract, a signed contract, and then leave the Condo Rider, present a blank Condo Rider, leave it unsigned, let the seller fill it out, and then send it back for the buyer to sign. A lot of the times, like I said, this is information that the seller knows, not the buyer. Okay, so as you can see here on the screen, I have some information already placed there from the as-is contract we did in a previous video. Okay, the seller was John Smith. The buyer was Mary and Jake Doe, a married couple. And the property that they were purchasing is 123 Main Street, Miami, Florida, 33162. Well, we're going to pretend that 123 Main Street, number 2105, is a condo in a building. Okay? So, being such, we're going to need a Condo Rider. So here we have already filled out the name of the seller, the buyer, the address. The top here is where the buyer and the seller are going to initial, right? Like I said, sometimes you're going to send this over without the buyer's initials and let the seller send it back, filling it out, everything. Okay, so section 1, we have condominium association approval. And this is where it asks you if condominium association approval is required for the purchase of this property. Okay, most of the time it is. Okay, if you want to purchase a property in a condo, you're going to have to go through some sort of approval process for that condo association to approve you to purchase the condo in their association, okay, in their building. Almost all the time you will see that this is required. Sometimes it's not. Down here in Miami, you will see that sometimes, but almost all the time it is. All right, so we're going to check off is right there. You see? Check. Line 1 is. Okay, leave these blank. Like I said, as long as you're moving quickly, right, there's no time to waste, right? If you know you have to apply for a condo association, don't wait. Don't wait 5 days. We're going to give you 5 days. Don't wait 5 days. Do it right away. Do everything right away. There's no time to waste when you're dealing with a purchase for a property contract. Somewhere in the contract it does say time is of the essence, and it really is. You need to move quickly, and you just need to always know there's no time to waste. So right here also we'll put 5, right? But these are just saying, you know, get moving, guys. Get moving. Go ahead, apply for that association. Going down here to section 2, right of first refusal. Now, I'm not going to go into an explanation on what a right of first refusal is, but you need to know whether or not the association has the right of first refusal, or the members of the association have the right of first refusal. Okay? You're not going to know that. You have to call the seller or someone from the building. So sometimes the seller might not even know that, but you have to find out somehow. And you will put that here. Often you will see that the association does have the right of first refusal, and sometimes even their members do. But for this example, we'll put that they do not. Right? But please, guys, this is just an example. You need to find out if you're doing this in real life. So going down, I'm going to leave this part blank here. All right, guys, we're going to go to the important parts, the next important part here. This is where you will put the condo association fees, okay? So if the condo fee has sometimes known as a maintenance fee, sometimes known as condo association dues, there's different names for it, but this, one way or another, if you're going to live in a condo and there's an association, you're most likely always going to be paying some sort of association dues or fees. Okay, this is where that goes. So you will find out, sometimes it's on the listing, maybe give a call to the listing agent, or somehow you will find out what the association dues are. For example, we're just going to put $500 a month here, okay? It's not exactly cheap, it's not too expensive for a lot of these Miami condos. But it's pretty typical. $500 a month. All right? Now, let's say there was a special assessment going on right now. So there was $500 a month, but then there's also currently a special assessment of additional $50 a month. We're going to include that here. All right? $50 a month. Right there. Let me go down. Wait, I think I might be wrong. Can I start that over?
Which part?
About that special assessment.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go back here. So now that we have, So we have $500 a month here as our association dues. Okay? Sometimes there's other fees, right? Oftentimes you will see that there is a land lease fee. Okay, not all the time, but sometimes you will see there is an additional land lease fee. Some of these condos actually don't own the land that they are on. They are leasing it. And if that happens, you will have an additional land lease fee, which may or may not be built into this association fee. If it's not, it'll be here, right? And that will be an additional fee, let's say $50 a month, right? And any other fees, they will all go right here in these three lines, okay? Okay, moving down to the next page of the Condo Rider. Okay, right here, section C, special assessments and prorations. I'm going to read this to you guys. Seller represents that seller is not aware of any special or other assessments that have been levied by the association or that has been an item on the agenda or reported in the minutes of the association within 12 months prior to effective date, except as follows. Guys, so if the seller knows that there's a special assessment coming up and it may not already have been mentioned in the paragraph that we just wrote about right up here in section 3, fees, assessments, prorations. Okay, so if it might not already have been levied by the association and the seller knows about it, they need to disclose it here in section C under special assessments and prorations. Okay, for instance, $50 a month for 5 years starting January 1, 2021 for a new roof. That might be something that the seller knows about, knows is coming up, but hasn't been levied yet, right? They would disclose that here. And in the next section, paragraph II down here, 2, if special assessments levied or pending exist as of the effective date, are disclosed above by seller and may be paid in installments, well, we're going to check here who's going to pay for this. Guys, if you're the buyer, you're probably going to ask the seller to pay for it, right? I mean, if I was the buyer, I would say, hey, seller, you pay everything at closing so that I don't have to pay anything when I move in except for the association dues that I already knew about. Now, don't get me wrong, the seller could always counteroffer. If you're the buyer and you're filling this out and you put seller could say, no, I'm not going to do that. Buyer, you pay the installments due after closing, and you would click that. Okay, so that's a negotiable item, and something you will have to negotiate. Going down to this part right here, litigation. Okay, hopefully you're purchasing a property in a condo that has no litigation pending. Personally, I wouldn't want to move into a condo that's being sued or is in the process of suing. It's just not something that I would want to do personally. All right, but if there was litigation pending, it would need to be disclosed right here. Okay, so you would put a little bit of information about the lawsuit pending and the parties involved and maybe what the controversy is. Okay, so moving forward, you don't see that a lot, but you do see it, so please be mindful of it. This is important, guys. Section 5, non-developer disclosure. If I'm the buyer, I'm going to want to check off B, right? B, this agreement is voidable, which says, and obviously it's the sentence doesn't end there. I'm not going to read the whole paragraph, but this pretty much says that the seller is now obligated to provide the buyer with a current copy of the Declaration of Condominium, Articles of Incorporation, bylaws and rules of the association, and a copy of the most recent year-end financial information and frequently asked questions and answers document, if so requested in writing. So guys, this says that the seller has to provide all those things to the buyer, okay? And if within 3 days of receiving those things, a buyer doesn't like what he sees and says, hey, I just inspected all your condo docs and I don't like what I see, I'm canceling. Guess what? That's completely fine, right? Because we checked off box B. This agreement is voidable, okay? Which means that the buyer can cancel if they don't like the condo docs that they see, right? If you checked off box A, that would say, that's pretty much saying buyers already received a copy of the condo docs, buyers inspected it, and we've already moved past that whole point, and this contract is not voidable, right? I wouldn't check that, especially if I hadn't seen the condo docs. We're going to check B. And then just moving forward to paragraph 6 here, buyer's request for documents. This is the buyer officially saying, I hereby request those documents. Seller, please provide them. And then once the seller does provide those documents, you will need to come back to this document, put the date here in paragraph 7 that those documents were received. All right, so they were received October 30th, 2020 for our hypothetical Condo Rider here. We're going to check this box. Buyer received the documents described in paragraph 5 above on such and such date. Okay, and that will be the date that you said, okay, here's the date. You now have 3 days, buyer, to cancel this contract, so you better get to inspecting these documents. If you don't like what you see, you only have 3 days to make this contract voidable. Okay? All right, so moving forward, another important part of this form, Section 8, common elements in parking. If you're buying a condo, well, you're probably purchasing a parking spot too, right? You don't want to forget about that. So you want to make sure you put in the parking spot numbers here. Is it coming with 1 spot? Is it coming with 2 spots? Sometimes even 3 spots, right? You're going to want to make sure you specify what spots you're getting here. So we're going to get spots 28 and 29 next to each other. We're moving into this 123 Main Street, apartment 2105, and guess what? We are getting parking spaces 28 and 29. All right? Or maybe they're in the garage number. Some condos have it differently. You don't get parking spaces, you get garage spaces. Okay? Same concept. And then here you have other. Sometimes you get a storage unit. So if you got a storage unit, a lot of the times they're numbered. You get storage unit, storage. I like to put it in caps. Oh, sorry. Storage unit 16, okay, or whatever storage unit it is. Or sometimes there is no storage unit number, but it's the storage unit adjacent to front door. All right, so you want to at least try to describe it. If there is no number, but you know it comes with a storage unit, you want to at least try to describe it as best as you can. Okay, so moving forward here, that was it. That's actually it. That wraps up the Condo Rider. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope you learned something. I hope you subscribe to our channel. There's a lot of useful information here for a lot of real estate professionals and people in the real estate industry. And once again, just thank you for joining.